before you know it. All right. Are you guys ready? Yes? All right. All right. You can use the chat feature in here too. So feel free to do that. I'll try to keep all those things rolling. And I am going to record this. I can find the record. Why is there no record? There we go.
Recording in progress.
All right. Careful what you say now. All right. We are being recorded. Guys, welcome to Attraction. First and foremost, you can unmute for this, but what do you notice about the name of this class?
Action.
There you go. Good. All right, good. I have high hopes for this group. Right? Action. I love about the word attraction has that core base of action in the word. And it doesn't happen. It's like lead generation and everything else like that. You don't get the business without taking action. And if you've listened to anything that, a lot of our top attractors say, they always tell you take massive action, right? If you want to get great results, you have to take big action, right? And, whether it's like playing sports, I play lacrosse, I play football. If you ever do like karate or anything else like that, when you do hitting drills, you're supposed to hit through the object and eventually you hit through the person in front of you, right? So if you're going to break a board, imagine that board in front of you and you're going to break the board. If you hit to where the board is, if you and you stop right there, you actually will just bruise your hand, right? You won't break the board. You have to hit through the board. You have to be hitting something that's 6 inches beyond the board, and that momentum has to take you all the way through. And the same thing. So I'm 5'8", right? So I'm not huge, and I've been this height since middle school. So you get on the field, everybody wants to hit the short guy. And so I made it a point to learn how to hit right and how to take a hit. Right. And so it's one of those things where, you have to go out there and you have to put that energy into it. So what's great is, I could go up against somebody who was, another 50 plus pounds more than I was and, a foot taller and knock them over, because a lot of people they don't go all the way through. Right. And they don't take that massive action. So you want to get big results. If you want to get results out of this, I'm going to ask you guys to commit to taking massive action. We get on that?
Yeah, for sure. Let's roll.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So you may be asking yourself right now, what have I gotten myself into? And who is this crazy guy we haven't met yet? Right? Well, right here, it talks about the difference between interest and commitment. Right? If you're interested in something, then when feels good, the timing seems right and everything else, you're going to follow through. But as soon as something gets difficult, you're going to make excuses, right? And if you need excuses, anyone will do. You don't even have to give yourself a good excuse. Give yourself the lamest excuse ever and you're like, yep, that sounds good, right? We don't need good excuses to talk ourselves out of doing something we don't want to do. But when you're committed, right, you accept no excuses, only results. And it means you're going to stay loyal to what you said you were going to do after that mood has left you, right? You sounded really good at the time. And now when you got to do what it takes to get what you said you were going to get, you have to do it, right? You have to do it. So a lot of it's super fun. I love it, but some of it is work. And so you got to commit to it and you got to be ready for it. All right. You guys should have this. You saw all this in preparation. One of my favorite quotes from Abraham Lincoln: if I had 6 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. So are you guys familiar with the DISC? I know the DISC behavioral styles, right? So I'm a 99D, 99I, right? I have no S or C. They still have the same. It's somewhere in the basement. So all D, all I, which means I like to get things done. I like to take action and I like to do it with a team, right? I like to do it through people, success through people, with people, go have fun, but get things done, take action and move quickly. However, I have learned, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of my background just briefly so you can get an understanding of where the details are coming from. I've learned that you can either spend the time on the front end or you can spend the time on the back end. But either way, you're going to spend the time, right? And front end time is way better than back end time, because back end time means you're backtracking, and cleaning up messes and everything else. If you figure it out on the front end, you have a little bit of a plan, then you can run a lot faster, right? I'm the one that will search for the remote for 45 minutes so I can sit on my couch for 2 hours and click the button and not get up every time I click the button on the TV, right? So just, think about it in terms of when you have something long-term that you want to do, then it's worth a little bit of front-end time to figure some things out, to learn, get some best practices, and to put a plan in place, and then take massive action on that plan, and you can win for a really long period of time after that. Okay, am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, good. So all of these things, I know you have all watched all the videos and you've downloaded the wealth chart and everybody's good to go and all that kind of stuff. But in the off chance that maybe one or two of you have not done that yet, I'm asking you to go ahead and make sure you do that. Okay, we'll be using these things throughout. So there's some good stuff in there. There's model explained. We've got an EXP version that Frank and Susan have put together. Frank Benuto and Susan McLean did a great kind of back and forth about EXP, which is awesome. That link is on here. And then the wealth chart, Rob Flick's video and all that kind of stuff. Thinking about your freedom number, and then thinking about the vision board. You're not doing that yet. We'll get to it. Okay. So ask you guys to do this part of your,
this to be for 15 people.
For all of this.
300.
Yeah. Can you mute yourself, please, if you're chatting? Thank you. All right. So this is what we're going to be going through, guys. This is funding your reason. So when I came to EXP, what some people don't know is I came here as an agent. I've been in the business for a long time. I started off as an agent selling houses. I was in leadership for a long time and owned some brokerages and that kind of stuff. And I had, sold everything and stepped out of other stuff and was kind of in a semi-retired state trying to figure out what's the next big thing to chase. One of my great friends, Gene Frederick, called me and said, you got to see this. This is the model of the future. And it was kind of like, you find gold in the field, you sell everything you have and you go buy the field, right? Well, that was me. I was like, I'm all in. And I'm gonna come over here and help grow this company. Got to be buddies with Glenn. And he said, hey, I don't have a job for you. I know you've been in leadership in the industry. And I said, I don't want a job. I'm a horrible employee, which is a true story. I just want to help grow this. This model is amazing. It's amazing for agents. It's amazing for the industry. And I wanted to come in and I wanted to help other people. I have been blessed to be able to grow businesses. I wanted to help other people use this platform to go build great lives. That's really, what I'm passionate about. So we called our group Fund Your Reason, FYR. It's a FIRE group. So you'll see some of the stuff on here. So I decided not to debrand it. I was going to debrand it once we opened it up. And I said, I want you to understand the heartbeat of this. The goal of this, if you're in it to make money for yourself, then you need to check your priorities, right? If you're in it to help other people succeed, then you're going to do just fine. It's kind of a Zig Ziglar mentality, right? So funding your reason, right? I want to help other people do that. So we go through some of the steps of how you do that. And so we're going to go through identifying your reason, right? Some people call it your why, right? I call it your reason. You're going to identify your reason, detoxify your reason. And this is a big one, guys. We're gonna spend some time today talking about mindset, and it's really important. I don't go do anything without checking mindset first, without setting mindset. Your results will be 10x when your mindset is right, and you may be setting yourself up for failure if you're going in with the wrong mindset. So we are going to work on that today. We're going to talk about identify, detoxify, quantifying your reason, clarify, simplify, magnify, fortify, amplify, edify, and unify. So we're going to go through that. Here are our sessions. Here's how it's broken down. You guys have this, so I'm not going to belabor the point. You get it, but this is how we're going to break this down and go through it. And then I'll make myself available for questions and all that fun stuff later on. All right. So this is every Thursday, right? It's every Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's this time every Thursday for 5 weeks. And registration is shut down. So, all right. Before we launch into some stuff, I want to give you guys just a super quick, history. And this is not about me, but I do want you to understand, you guys, if you don't know me, my name's Dave. It's good to meet you. Glad you're here. So I happen to be the president of EXP North America. I've been here since 2018 at this company. When I got here, we were around 10,000 agents. We were in some markets in the U.S. and a few markets, I think 2 territories in Canada. And nowhere else. And we were not on NASDAQ yet, still over-the-counter stock. We Did not own Verbella. We did not own Success, all that kind of stuff like that. So it was still semi-early days, spreading out and getting a little, starting to get some cadence as a regional company. And of course, now we're in 23 countries and the number one independent real estate company in the world. Closing in on 90,000 agents. We're up over 86,000 agents. So it's been a really fun ride. Awesome company to be a part of. So but I want to take you through a couple things, because when we're going to talk about some of these things, I just want you to understand that I'm not going to be sharing with you some things that I think will work, that maybe we should try these. I'm not going to give you some things that, work one time in one situation for one person. And so maybe they'll also work for you. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of the periphery stuff, because you guys are all talented. You guys all have awesome personalities. You bring different experiences with you. You're going to add that to what you do. I'm going to give you the core stuff. I'm going to give you the foundational stuff and talk to you about how to think about this and what action steps to do. We're going to go through this, how to set it up, how to set a plan, and how to go after it and get it. But it's based on time on task over time. So, I started off out of college doing international telecom, doing international business, got a chance to help launch businesses all over the world. And I helped this startup company with a bunch of really awesome engineers that were coming out of Westinghouse, build this business and branch out and build into 10 countries in 3 years. And I was 23 to 25 years old at that time frame. So I launched in 10 countries in 3 years. And so that took a lot of communication, a lot of needs analysis, a lot of asking questions, a lot of learning. I was in way over my head, and having those conversations and figuring out how to structure these things and how to build this. And so it's all of these things you'll find are fairly similar in what was required. So 3 years, and you can see it in red through there because it ended up being a theme in my life. Spent 3 years doing that. Ended up building up the company, a multi-million-dollar company. It was very successful and it was a lot of fun. A lot of respect for that crew. They took good care of me, and I was making good money, especially for that age. But what I noticed is, the guys that own the companies, they started buying big houses and fancy cars and all of that. And I had a good check for my age. But I said, man, in order to make the real money, I've got to be on the ownership side. I've got to have more control over it, right? Salary and bonus is great, but there's still a lid on it. I want to go build something really big. So I went into real estate because everyone's wealthy in real estate, right? So it's what we all think coming in. It's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. So I got into real estate, and I was very blessed to have a great mentor and a couple of great people that I could lean on to learn, who were working really hard and certainly gave me a lot of shortcuts as far as just learning from their experience. So I was able to get into a lot of houses through my third year. And at this point, I was 26, 27 years old. I sold 120 homes. Today's value is about 102 million. We started to get into development stuff, started to get into some other things, and started looking at running franchises, right? Running brokerages. So at that time, was introduced to a brand, kind of a pretty new company, pretty small. They also had about 10,000 agents at that time or so. And they were going to be opening up a region in my area. It didn't exist yet. So I owned the domain kellerwho.com for 5 years. Some of you may have heard of a company called Keller Williams. So I was there with them when they were real small. And we got a chance to grow that and launch franchises and build those businesses and build those brokerages and do that. And about every 3 years, so I launched another new franchise, right? So we go into a market where we knew nobody. And same thing, again, with real estate during those 3 years, right? Getting into it as a young person and trying to figure out. So that was a 3-year period of building relationships, doing needs analysis, helping people, opening these, talking to agents. During that time period, I placed over 60,000 cold calls. Okay. So that was one of the big ways that I didn't know anyone. So I had the list of everyone in the market, and I would just call from A to Z. And when I got to Z, I started back on A. And scheduled appointment. I got a chance to talk to so many agents, right? So I had the life of being one, and I had the opportunity to talk to them. And I learned why people wanted to talk to me, why they didn't want to talk to me, what excuses they would give. which things were worth trying to overcome, which things are worth going, hey, thanks for your time. And then sitting down over and over and over again on different appointments, over 9,000 face-to-face appointments, sitting down one-on-one with the purpose of trying to get them to join my company. 9,000 times when you go through those meetings, I'm sure they're, on average, at least an hour, right? Then you got 9,000 hours of doing a needs analysis with agents, right? I don't know, has anybody been on 9,000 listing appointments? Right. So, I mean, you think with 9,000 listing appointments, they're like, you're going to learn a few things about what sellers focus on, right? What their concerns are and, what makes them say yes to work with you and what they want. And then through the process, right? What they told you when you met with them and then what happened through the process and how do you meet those needs and how does all that shake out, during all of that. So, so that's what the benefit that I got out of that was talking to agents and really understanding what they want, what they need, what's important to them, what are their hopes and fears and everything else. So I ended up taking over as CEO of a regional franchise with 42 offices. And that region, I went in and hired all the recruiters, right? I hired the people that were doing the recruiting and I taught them what I had been doing. So I took what I had learned and what I had done. Our group did become, we were in the top 300 brokerages in the world for size and production and profitability, our group of brokerages that we grew. And then this region, we added over 3,400 agents in 3 years, become the #1 region in the world for the largest real estate company in the world. And then, of course, in 3 years, we went from 10,000 agents, added 70,000 agents in 3 years here at eXp. So the point of all of this is two things. One is that what I'm bringing to you is time tested and is tested with other people, right? Because all of those 42 people, they had to learn it and replicate it, and it had to work for them. And it's also in different industries and different time periods and different types of markets. And it's built on needs analysis and understanding what people need and helping them achieve what they want to achieve. And I also want to give you some encouragement because the saying of most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in 3 years. And so this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not an overnight success. This is do the right things and focus on it. It is exponential. If you haven't seen the compounding of a penny, go Google compounding of a penny, compounding a penny over a month, right? Because, on day one, you've got 1 penny. You're not feeling super rich. On day 2, though, you have 2 cents. Still feeling not that rich. Day 3, you got 4 cents. You got 8 cents, right? It's still, you get a week into it and you're thinking, man, I still don't even have $1. And it's been a week. But at the end of the month, you have like $1 million, right? It's a massive amount of money. So go through and check that out. There's some math on it and everything else. When you go through that compounding, you do that daily compounding. So this is similar. You get into it and you're like, man, I worked and I finally got one person who said they were going to join and this person came on and it took me forever, right? But it happens over time. And then suddenly you hit that bell curve and it ramps and the exponential nature of this model takes over where people talk to people. And it's been so fun and rewarding to watch how that's grown our company. So I want to encourage you guys, and I want you just to know to go into this with a long-term focus because there are people in our company who have been doing this for less than 5 years that are making more than $1 million a year, right? Some quite a bit more than that. And so that's, they started off with a handful of people and not getting anything as well. So if in 5 years, if I told you you could set up some patterns and set up some habits and do certain things consistently, in less than 5 years, you'll be making over $1 million a year passive income, no matter what else you do. Would that be worth it to you? Say yes, right? Okay. So that's the concept. So it's one of those things where don't expect to have it tomorrow, but be committed for the long haul because at some point in the future, you will have the freedom to choose what you want to do. And my goal is not to get people out of selling real estate. We are a real estate company. We are about real estate sales. We are about helping people build great businesses, serve their clients, a great place for our agents to do business. I'm not looking to chase anyone out of selling real estate. What I want you to have is the freedom that when you're ready to retire from real estate, or you want to leverage, or maybe you want to branch into other components, that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, that you have the time freedom and the financial freedom to build the life that you want. I'm more interested in helping you live a great life than I am in helping you sell a lot of real estate. I hope that part of living a great life is selling a lot of real estate. But my ultimate focus is that you have a great life. So that's the focus. And I think this is a part of it. That's part of the awesome platform that we provide here at EXP. All right, I'm going to stop for questions in a minute, but I want to take you through a couple of these things so we get going. So we're going to get into step one. Step one is identify your reason. This is one of the core components. Okay, if you don't know why you're doing it, right, then it's when the going gets tough, it's easy to walk away. It's easy to walk away if you don't know why, right? So I'll read this to you real quick. When you'll find your reason to do it, you will feel that fire within you, the kind of motivation that keeps you going while others give up, right? So purpose is the reason you journey. Passion is the fire that lights your way. Okay, so what are you passionate about? We're going to think about it, and I'm going to challenge you guys to dig deep and to really think about it. Okay, you're going to get in touch with your emotions here, and we're going to think about some things. So if you're phoning it in, this is where it gets real. All right. Once you guys get out a piece of paper, if you got a piece of paper, hopefully, I know some of you are driving. I'm not encouraging anyone to not be here live when we do this. Okay, this is live. It's 6:26 p.m. on the 16th Eastern time. So it's not recorded, but we are recording these. And so if you have to go back and do some of these later, we're going to put it just in our group. Okay, just in our group. I'm not charging for this. I'm not asking to sign up for anything after this. I just want people to be engaged. That's the only reason I'm doing it like this, as far as registration and keeping it in this group. But if you got to go back, you can do it. All right, so we're going to talk about uncovering your core values, because your core values are what will drive you to go do what you want to do. And they're also why people will follow you. Super important to understand this. So there's a list of core values. These are a list of potential core values up on the screen. And there's a couple of lines down under other, where if you don't see one of the core values that's super important to you, that you want to write that into your own, you can create your own core value. That's totally fine. It's not limited to this list. Okay. These are major values that show up in your life.
Knock it off.
Yeah, come on. These are major values that show up in your life. Someone drawing on the screen? That's interesting. That's so cool. I know we can do that. These are major values that show up in your life that drive what you do, and that you wouldn't want to live without, right? You want to think about the things that shape everything you do, that make life worth living. If it's joy, it's like, man, I want to find the joy in every situation. I want joy. It could be fun. You might just say, look, if we're not having fun, it's not worth it. I want everything to be about fun, and I'm driving fun. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's creating balance. Maybe it's teamwork. It's just, how do these things show up? So you're going to circle your top 10, not on the screen, whoever that was. That was cool that you figured that out. So you're going to do 10. You can write down 10 or circle 10 or whatever you want to do, right? 10 core values. I'm going to give you guys a minute, and I'm going to check on chats and everything else like that. And in the meantime, 10 core values. Okay, go ahead and do it fast as you can, but be honest. There are no wrong answers.
You can see Christopher drawing on the screen again.
Christopher is going to be our example when we go through this, since he's given us all of his names. He just volunteered himself. I love it. All right. It's enough time to go through there. You guys keep going while I'm talking and everything else. We're going to go through this a little bit. So, all right. You should have 10 words that kind of encompass what's important to you in life and describe who you are. You should look down at those words and say, that's either, yes, that's me, or yes, that's who I aspire to be, or yes, those are the things that I need and want in my life. And they're super, super important to me. So hopefully you've got 10 words down there and you're looking at them. All right, that's great. Question.
Easy.
Easy.
I know I'm a dog magnet. The white lab. Yeah.
Dog magnets.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was a dog in a past life.
Suzanne, mute.
Dan, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh,
Love these
I was
big
a dog
zooms.
in my
Looks like a
past
yellow
life.
lab.
Where's Suzanne?
Yellow lab.
You get it? No, you
Yeah. Doing great. God
off.
bless.
Yeah. All right. Cool. These are so fun. Would have been easier with 15 people, I think. Yeah, this is good. This is good. All right. So actually, I'm asking you guys, put in the chats, easy or hard? Did you find this easy or hard to find 10? Go ahead and throw it in there. All right. So easy for most. Easy for most, right? Not too bad. You got 10. All right. I'm going to make it a little harder for you. I'll make it a little harder for you. All right.
Hard
You have to cross off 5 of them. You have to cross off 5. I know. Sorry, Judy. I saw that. So you got to cross off 5 of these core values. It doesn't mean they're not important to you, but we're going to narrow it down. Out of those 10, which 5 are the most important? So you're going to cross off 5, and you're going to be left with the 5 that most embody who you are, who you want to be, what you want in your life. These are things that need to exist in your life for life to be, what you want it to be, right? So difficult, maybe. We'll see. You're going to cross off 5. Give you a couple seconds to do that. You look good, Mr. Shule. I don't know if you can hear me.
I don't know. Someone says getting harder, you're mean.
Good. All right.
That's all.
Easier or harder than doing the 10?
That felt easier.
Oh, all right.
Harder.
Harder. I usually hear harder, but I definitely both. It's different depending on, how your brain works.
A lot harder.
Yeah. A lot of folks in the chat are saying harder. It's usually what I experience. So yeah, it's hard. So now you got it down to 5, right? So look at those words. Look at those words. I want you to think about what those words mean to you, right? I want you to picture how those words, what they describe, how it shows up in your life. Okay, I want you to picture it for real. I want you to go through each of the words, look at each word and go, what does that mean to me? Why is that important to me? How does that demonstrate itself, and why is it so important, right? What would change in my life if I didn't have that in my life, right? So Christopher's example, he's got joy. What would change in your life, Christopher? You didn't have joy, right? Think about that. Trust. Right? So I want you to think about the positives and the negative of not having that. All right. Now that you've done that, I want you to imagine that I have the ability to come into your life and take these all away from you so that you don't experience these things in your life anymore. Let me ask you, which one would you fight the hardest to hold on to? What's the one that you would fight the hardest to hold on to if I could take them all away from you?
Well, the last one's my daughter, so clearly that would be,
Yeah, that's a good choice.
and this is a Second Amendment household. So
Yeah, that's right. I like it. All right. Note to self on that one.
All right. I gotta do something.
Be careful with the door knocking there.
Yeah. All right. So easier or harder?
it's still pretty hard,
Yeah. All right. Would anybody just go like, that's easy. Super easy.
Very.
Select out
Easy.
of one most important is easy. That's family, hands down.
There you go. There you go. So
It's the easy part, but losing joy, honesty, humor, integrity, the trust, these are things that are pillars of a person's life, in my opinion, at least one that's worth living.
yeah.
21
that's-
years in the military, I'd lay it all down to save my family.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, right? So here's what I want you to think of, and this is funny because I've been through this exercise before, and I've been on both ends of this, right? And I was in a class, actually the first time that I ever went through this, and I had someone in the class, and they had fun, right? Now I had family. Family's mine. And it still is. And he had fun. And I was teasing him because I knew he had like 6 kids. And I was like, dude, you have 6 kids, and you said fun. And he said, let me explain to you why that is. Let me explain to you why that is. And he talked about how fun shows up in his life and what that means. He has kids. He loves kids. He loves a big family, and he loves what that means. And the household is fun, and they go do all the stuff together, and they do whatever. But he said, that's what makes it good. If having kids wasn't fun, I wouldn't have kids. I would have stopped at 1 or whatever, right? So he said that the way that he's crafted his life is around that experience of fun in his life. And so, he said, yeah, family is massively important to me. If you had to ask, is my family the most important thing to me? Yes. But from a core value to him, it was fun. And he went through and gave a bunch of examples on that. And I was like, wow, that really hit home. And I loved hearing that perspective of how all of these different things mean different things to different people and how they show up. Now, when I teach this from a sales standpoint, right, and we talk about, okay, you're going to put your message to the world, your USP out there, unique selling proposition of what makes you different. And so you go, okay, great. So tell me how you're going to use fun. He said, well, I'm going to make sure that closings are fun. Right. I'm going to make sure that the process is fun. They may be someone who's not interested in fun and they're stressed out and they're doing X, Y, and Z. But if the home search process is enjoyable, right, then that's it. Enjoyable to them may mean that they got the right price, right, or it's sold in the right time, or the carpet didn't get messed up with everyone bringing dirty shoes in, or whatever it was. That made it fun for them. So, parlaying that into what those are. So core values, you got your core values, you have your 10, you have your 5, and you have your 1 top core value. So hang on to that. We're going to come back to it. All right. We got lots of artwork on here. Okay. So I want you guys to start working on this now. You're going to create your personal mission statement, okay, based off of your reason. We're going to be looking at that core value. So here are some questions. I want you guys to write out the answers to these questions. And thanks for cleaning that up. I appreciate it. All right, so no more writing on the screen. And so what we're going to do, I want you guys to write down your own stuff. Okay, the questions right here are, what do you desperately and passionately want for your life and your legacy, right? And I want you to key in on those words. Desperately and passionately are intense words, right? These are not phoned in words. Desperate and passionate, right? So what do you desperately and passionately want for your life and your legacy? I want you to think about that and write it down. All right, and just keep on going through. I'm just going to keep talking for the sake of time here. And guys, this is all going to turn into action, but we've got to get the mindset right first. Okay, you've got to build this. So I really encourage you to don't gloss over this. There's a method to my madness. I've been teaching people successfully how to do this. So if you want to win, stick with me. All right. So what do you desperately and passionately want for your life and your legacy, right? And then what's required to allow that to happen? What do you need?
So there's a connecting.
What are the resources that you need, right? What are the tools that you need? What's the knowledge that you might need? What needs to happen, right? So what do you require to make that happen, right? What does your life need to look like in certain areas, right? Okay, write those down. Okay, next question is, What are you good at that has a value to others? Right? Think about what you're really good at, what comes naturally to you, okay, that has a value to others. And then what are you passionate about that would cause others to follow you or to be in your tribe? If you go out there and you talk about something passionately where other people would go, yeah, I feel that. I want to be with you. What is it? What is it that you're really passionate about that other people, that would resonate with them and they would want to follow you as a result? Yep. All right. So I want you to boil it down now, okay? I want to blank that or so that this, okay? And so it's, you know, it's going to be how you're going to get there, right? And why you're going to get there. I'm going to show you an example on this of this as well. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you. This is something from Thoreau. I love this. So I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and to shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. So this speaks to me. It may not speak to you, but this is something where when I read this, I was like, yes, right? This is kind of like something where it taps into some of the passions of living life. Now, some of you may or may not know, but I went through a near-death experience when I was 28. So I was in a boating accident and I was in shock trauma. And the surgeons told told my wife that there was a good chance that I was blind in both eyes, paralyzed from the neck down, and brain damaged. And so I was 28 years old. I had just opened up another franchise, so I had multiple businesses launching. We had a 1-year-old daughter, and just built a new house and all that kind of stuff. And so that was a pivotal moment that, thank the Lord. It turns out I was only brain damaged. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, what could have been that, the doctors went through and showed, and they said, there's no way you should be alive. You shouldn't be walking. You shouldn't have survived. And if you survived, you should be a vegetable. And if you weren't a vegetable, you should definitely at least be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Like the fact that you're walking out of here doesn't make any sense, right? My forehead, the bridge of my nose, my eye socket, and my cheekbone are all titanium for real. It's, cracked vertebrae in my neck, all that fun stuff, right? I was on a walker, had to learn to walk again and all of that. That a second chance to go do something is really impactful. I hope none of you have gone through, or have to go through anything like that. But there's something pretty valuable in a lesson. So just learn it from me and don't do it. You have an opportunity to go do something great. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Be passionate about it. So here's how I want you to think about this process. I want. That requires I'm good at, I'm passionate about. Okay? So we're framing this a little bit more, taking this back, right? Write this out. I want whatever. That requires something. I'm good at this. I'm passionate about this. Because you're going to bring all of that together. What you're trying to build, what you're going to need to build it, what assets you're bringing to the table, and what you're really passionate about. Because that's how you're going to find other people to help you go build your dream. Because they're going to be people on the same mission that you're on, right? You got to surround. You can't get people to focus on, you know, what you want if it's not what they want. You have. That's why you put it out there to the world and say, this is what I believe in, and this is where I'm going, and this is what's important to me. And you will attract people who are on that same mission, and you'll help each other get there. It's the coolest thing, right? I see Noelle on here. Noelle, I see what you put out in social media. You talk about what you believe in and what's important, but you attract people who have that same, you know, desire in their lives to build that same kind of life, right? And that's important. You got to be super authentic, and this is about being authentic. So that's why we're going through this, to really understand it. I would say most people go out and do it and they think, all right, agent attraction, sort of like lead generation. If you're going to go build your sales business, or you're going to go build your revenue share business, if you jump into it and just say, I got to talk to a bunch of agents, I got to go recruit people so I can make revenue share, you know, you're going to have a real short run at it, right? Or it won't be fulfilling. And so it really comes down to, when you do this and you get it, and you put authenticity out there, you will attract. Let's say your vibe attracts your tribe. Well, it's a real thing. So let me share with you guys this. This is what we wrote in putting this together. All right, so I'm going to share with you mine. I went through I wouldn't ask you to do something I didn't do. All right, so this is what we wrote, and you'll see it follows the formula. We want to live a life rich with experiences, to explore God's incredible creation, and share life's adventure with our family and friends, leaving a legacy of passion for life and the funds to pursue it for generations to follow. Okay. Freedom to explore needs to be funded by financial and schedule freedom, right? We need the money to do it, but we need the time to go do it too, right? You can have the time but not have the money. You can have the money but not have the time. Still doesn't work. You need both. We are good at building and growing businesses. We're passionate about helping others discover the greatness inside them and teaching skills to build their own success stories. We want to build a leveraged business that helps others build lives they love and provides freedom for us to build memories with our family and friends. Okay, so this is how we encapsulated it. Don't copy mine, but hopefully it helps you, hopefully this helps you put a picture to it. Okay, this is the general concept of what you want to come up with. Now, this is something that we have printed out. We're going to go through doing your vision board and everything else. And a lot of this is going to get pulled into your vision board. Okay. And so, you have to understand what it is you're building. And, we have some of our top growth leaders that make nearly $1 million a month in revenue share. And that's amazing. And they have big visions and big dreams. I can tell you the people, like you've seen, like, Jay Kinder just bought a jet, and Susan and Jean just bought, incredible boat. That's amazing. Big visions, big whatever. But I will also tell you, nobody pours into other people like they do. Nobody gives more money away than they do. Every time I hang out with Brent, I end up donating more money to some charity, which is awesome. I love that about him. And he's just so passionate about helping other people. He's got a huge, huge vision. Your vision may be different, right? It may not require that much funding for your vision. You just need to understand how much funding it requires. And it's not about having a small dream, big dream, or anything else. Don't judge your dream against anyone else's dream. It doesn't work that way, right? You need to have your own, and you need to understand, what that is, and then figure out what it's going to take to go enact that vision. You may already have the funding you need, and it's not about the funding. How does this reach your vision, right? So, it's not all dollars and cents, right? But it is about making sure that you have the ability to do what you want to do to create the life that you want. So I want you guys to go through this and create this. If you want, you can send this. You can send this to me in Workplace. Send it to our agent account. It's Dave and Kristen Conord, not Dave Conord. So you can see it's got a picture of Kristen and I as the profile picture. Send it to that one. When you write it up, send it in. I'm going to collect a few. I'll pull your name off of it, and then I'll show a few of them, or we'll talk about it, or I'll read a couple off next time. I'll just read, a handful of them so you can get a feel for what other people said. And hopefully that'll be helpful to you. But I promise you, it's super critical to really dial this in and to have an understanding of what is your reason? What are you doing? What are you building? Why are you doing it? Right? And how are you going to win? How are you going to get there? This is your plan. This is your roadmap right here. And if you don't have a clear picture of what this looks like, spend time on this. And if you have a significant other that is part of the vision and the long term, they need to be in that discussion, right? You got to make sure you're on the same page on this. That's pretty important. All right. Action step number 2, detoxify. Now this is one that I thought long and hard because I laid out the steps for this. I wrote this class a while back. And one of the things that I've noticed, again, talking with people for years and years and years and lots of conversations about their goals, because I asked every single agent that I sat in front of is, what's your goal? Why is that your goal? What does that do for you? When you achieve that goal, what will that do for you? Why is that important to you to achieve that goal? Right? And so many people don't really believe in their heart that they deserve their goal. Okay? So just stop for a second. You might go, that's silly. Think about it. Do you really believe you deserve it? Do you really believe that you can do it? Right? You picture a life and you go, think about that freedom. Think about the financial freedom to really go do, whether it's a cause you want to fund, an adventure you want to go on, a life you want to live, the legacy you want to leave behind, right? I mean, we're working on, paying great grandkids colleges, right? I mean, that's the kind of stuff we're looking at going, like, I want my legacy, I want down the line in the family to have certain things that they don't have to worry about. It's not about making sure everyone else is wealthy and all that other kind of stuff. It's about allowing them to focus in on life and not have some of the things, our first year of marriage, our combined total income was $17,000. Right. So, it was like, which bill are we not, who's going to be the least pissed that we don't pay them this month? Right. Been there, done that. I would like to structure a life where the people that the legacy we leave for our families is going to focus in on their passions. But you have to believe that you can do it, and you have to believe that you're worth it and that you deserve it. And so many people aren't there in their head. And that holds them back all the time. They put out a big dream, and then when it really comes down to it, they go, will your family make fun of you? Will friends make fun of you? Well, what if you go out there and really go for it, and people are like, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? Right? Does that hold you back? It happens. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. People will tell me all the time, I just want to make this much money. And I'm like, why? Like, well, will that change your life? Well, no, but at least it'll do X, Y, and Z. And I'm going, well, you're going to have to work to get there. Why don't you go here instead, right? And they just didn't believe that they really deserved it. All right. So this 2 quotes here. You'll be amazed at what you attract when you start believing in what you deserve. Okay. Because I'm not a huge, universe, whatever kind of a thing, but there's a lot of truth in that, in being authentic and being who you are, and what you put out. People read it, and it may not be, it may be an intangible. Okay. But, opportunities come to you when you present yourself as someone who is open to opportunities. So I'm going to show you this. You guys see the screen? Take a look. Right? Take a picture if you want. That is a real screenshot from an actual revenue share payout for 1 month for one person. Okay, that's a real number. 739,496. How many people would like to earn that in 1 year? Right? Not bad, right, Margo? Not too shabby. So that's a great year, right? That's a great decade for some people. Okay, that is a month. That is 1 month. Okay, and that was done in less than 7 years. Okay, less than 7 years. Think about it. Okay, think about it. So what I want you to think about is that this is doable. And a lot of people right now, they go, oh, did I miss the boat? Am I too late? And everything else. Guys, we're growing so much faster now than we ever grew back then. When the Jeans and the Brents and the Jays and you know, all of those folks started doing this, right? Shelley, right? When they came in, they'll tell you, right? When the company was at Elizabeth, you know, the company had 400 agents. Then it had like 1,000 agents. Do you know how many agents were joining a month? 20, right? You know, in the whole company, 20 a month. You know, last month, you know, most of those people added over 700 agents into their organization in 30 days alone, right? We weren't adding 700 agents a year back then. Okay, so, and this is in each one of their organizations. So I want you to understand the opportunity is as big as it has ever been. Okay, do you want this amount? Of course, everyone would love to get it, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes to earn it. All right. So this is a friend of mine calls a check up from the neck up. It's time to remove your stinking thinking. Okay. He was from the South. All right. So I want you guys to write down your limiting beliefs. Okay, I want you to stop right now. Be very real with yourself. We got about 5 minutes left. I'm probably going to go 5 minutes over. I'm just warning you right now. This, I want you to think about, what are your limiting beliefs? What are the stories you tell yourself? Okay, because if you fight for your limitations, you're going to get to keep them. Okay, so right now, we're going to write down what those mental limitations are. If you've ever seen the picture of the horse that was standing next to a fence, and the lead for the horse was draped over the fence but not tied off, and that horse wasn't going anywhere. Because a lot of times our limitations are just in our head, right? That horse could have walked away anytime they wanted to. It's the same with our dog. We would put up the baby gate to keep our dog somewhere. Our dog could have jumped over that baby gate in a heartbeat, but they stood there with their head on top of the baby gate and just never went over it. Right? But there's a gate here. I can't go over. So what are you telling yourself? So I want you to write it down. Write it down. All right. Take a piece of paper. Write down your limiting beliefs. What are the stories you tell yourself? What are the things that you believe in your head? Okay. Maybe someone else has been telling you these things. If you've got someone in your life that is not doing you any favors in the way that they talk to you, and maybe that sometimes that person is you. Okay, write those things down. All the things. I can't this. People won't listen to me. I'm not a big enough producer. I'm new in my market. Everyone else is going to steal them. Like whatever, all your excuses, and everybody on here's got them. Everybody's got them. So write them down. I want you to be specific what they are. Okay, anything that can hold you back. Okay, now I don't want you to do it right now because I don't want to start any fires. Okay, once you've got all these written down, you're going to take this paper with these limiting beliefs, and I want you to put it somewhere safe, outside or whatever, in your fireplace, and you're going to burn it. Okay, I want you to burn it, and I want you to celebrate burning it. Watch it burn all the way down to the ashes. It's gone. You are banishing those thoughts from your head. You have taken them out, you've put them on the paper, and you've burned them, and they're gone. Okay? Because you are going to change your narrative. You're going to change the story that you're going to tell yourself. You're going to get excited about your mission and where you're going and what you're doing and how it's going to change your life. And you're going to believe that you can do it. And we're going to give you the path to do it. Okay? We're going to go through the steps. But you've got to get your head here first. You have to get clarity on what's important to you in life, your core values. You have to get clarity on your reason, right? What is it? What's that picture? You got to write that all out and get clarity on that. You have to understand what has held you back and what could hold you back, and you got to get rid of it. And you have to recognize it. Once you've written it down, when you see it, you'll hear yourself tell yourself one of those things again. And this time you can go, no, I don't use that excuse anymore, right? Those are gone. You do not have permission to use those old excuses once they're burned. Okay, you can use them tonight until you burn your paper, and then after that, they're out. All right. One of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talks about his self-confidence formula. All right. I know people that swear by doing the affirmations and stand in front of the mirror and do the whatever. What was it, Saturday Night Live skit, right? handsome and people like you. I forget what that one thing was, but right, you know what I'm talking about. But I do believe in self-talk. I do believe in controlling what I say to myself because it's really powerful. And saying things over and over again, it becomes the way you think, right? And so if you have a way that you want to think, but you don't think that way, you got to say it over and over and over and over again because it will become the way you think. It will become ingrained, okay? So I'm not going to read all these slides. We're going to put these slides up in there so you'll have all of these. I'm not going to read through this whole thing, okay, because we're running out of time. But guys, I'm just going to read the first one. It says, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Hey, your reason, right? My reason in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. Okay? You're making a promise to yourself. Making a promise to yourself. Okay? Make it to your spouse, your significant other, your accountability partner as well, right? But you say, I know I have the ability to achieve this. I know I can do it. And I know that in order to do it, I have to stay committed to it and keep doing it. And then I'm going to keep doing it until I achieve it. And I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to make that commitment to myself and I'm going to do it. And that's what gets you up every day to do what you need to do to get the results that you want to get. All right? Okay, guys. You have all of these. I want to encourage you to make sure you get all of these done. Go through and watch all of these. Get your wealth chart out. Watch Rob's video on how to do it. Now the last items down the bottom, 1, 2, and 3. This is your homework. Yes, you have homework. The whole week to do it. Okay. I want you to write down as many agents as you can think of. Okay. Write down all of the agents that you know. Okay. Aim for 100 or more. Pull a list. Think of all of the agents that you know. And then I want you to take that list and I want you to prioritize it by influence. Okay, because we're going to do things that are duplicatable and we're going to do things that use the exponential nature, right? So all agents are great. Anyone is an awesome, addition, all the good ones, right? I'll say we don't want all the agents, we just want all the good ones, right? So it's a great addition to the company. But if you want this to duplicate, you have to bring someone who has some influence, okay? Because they will break people. That's the key. So think of all the agents, prioritize them by influence. Talk to your partners, your mentor, your sponsor, whatever. Talk about your group that's up, that's up above you. Talk to them about what you're looking to do and find out which one of them are all in to support you in this process, who will hold you accountable, who will be there to jump on calls with you and all of that. Get your team ready. Plant your flag in the ground and say, I'm going to go do this. I'm focused on this. Dave is going to come after me if I don't do this, and I need your help. All right? And then I want you to talk to at least 5 agents about EXP. All right, we're going to learn how to do it and what to say and everything else like that. There are some scripts and some things that really work, but you can't break it. If you go in with a true desire to get to know people, to uncover their needs and to help them, you can't mess up. You honestly cannot mess up. Bring your enthusiasm for the company that you're with. Bring your enthusiasm for helping them. Do not go and what we call EXP all over them, right? That is not, you're not going to go and just be like, hey, let me tell you all about my company. It's all about them, okay? Ultimately, we're going to find how what we have helps them get what they want. But you can't do that until you understand what they want, okay? So that's the focus. Sure who that is? Hold on. Sorry. Okay. All right. So that is the focus. The focus is on uncovering needs and being inquisitive. Just get there and just get to know them. Ask them questions about their business. Ask them what their goals are. Ask them what they're trying to do and everything else like that. And then just say, cool, if I could find a way to help you get there faster, easier, better, and with more fun and less pain and maybe more money in your pocket, would that be okay? But that's the last thing that you say, right? It's all the other questions and everything else first. And don't think about the next question while they're talking. Just listen. Your next question will be obvious from what they say. When they're done talking, my favorite next question is, what else? Tell me more about that. Why is that more important to you? Those are the things you ask, right? You're just taking them down the path and letting them talk. You're going to uncover a way I'll dig in this later. We're going to talk more about the scripts on this. I got all kinds of stuff, but the bottom line is you can't break it. So talk to 5 agents or more about EXP. Find a way to do it. Next week, we're going to talk about Quantify. We're going to talk about your freedom number with RevShare. We're going to talk about how RevShare works. And guys, one of my other favorite quotes is by Pablo Picasso. It's learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Okay? The best way to get the results out of this, you have to understand, and I'm not talking about gaming the system or cheating. What I'm talking about is if you understand how revenue share works, you can understand how to structure your business to make the most money from it. The same way in understanding how real estate sales work, to understand in today's market, in my local market where I'm working with buyers and sellers, I'm going to look at all of the information and uncover which segments of the market are moving the fastest right now, which are the next upcoming segments that are going to be moving, how is the market shifting, how do I prepare myself, and how do I get an opportunities way to have relationships with the people who are in the houses or going to be buying the houses that are moving at the highest frequency right now, because that's where I'm going to spend my time, right? So it's about understanding how it works to make money from it. I'm going to teach you guys how to do it, and we're going to have some fun with it. All right. Man, I talked to you guys a lot today, but today I had to pull this out of you and share all this. I can't wait to dig into the rest. If you have questions, hit me up. Let me know. Check your videos. Get your homework done. Have an awesome week, and thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate it. Hope you had fun.
Super.
Thank
A quick
you.
question, Dave.
Thank
The
you.
100 agents.
Thank you, Dave.
You may not
100
think
agents can that be any agent, or is that agents outside of EXP?
Oh, agents outside of EXP, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All non-EXP agents. You want to find people that you can talk to about EXP to bring them over. Yeah, don't try to get any EXP agents.
Thanks, man.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks, guys.